Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are happy days. These days are Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
Hello and welcome to everybody for Gippsland League round 18. On your right is Chris Samilis, General Manager of the Gippsland League, and on your left is Naomi, who's the boss of netball in Gippsland, no question about that. I'm Keith Anderson and I'm filling in for Chris, who is a little bit indisposed tonight in the central role. Well, Chris, do you want to say anything, or can you say anything? Last week, a couple of interesting results, a couple of big games, Wonthaggi and Maffra and Traralgon and Morwell.
Yeah, well, I've lost my voice and just getting it back. Well, our five's been settled, but it's thrown the third position's wide open at the moment, Keith. So, very vital match, two vital matches over the weekend, but a very important one this coming up this weekend because third position's not settled yet.
No, pretty good to see Wonthaggi sort of bounce back and have a win over Maffra at Wonthaggi after they'd lost their chance of playing in finals. So it's good to see that the sides are really playing it out to the end of the year. Traralgon and Morwell, big game on Sunday. Traralgon sort of ran away with that one. I thought they'd win. I didn't quite expect them to win as convincingly as they did, but they're really starting to fire coming into the finals. So very interesting time, and the match with Traralgon Maffra this week, which will decide third, should be a beauty.
Well, we can probably go straight into that, Keith.
Well, I haven't got your draw here, so we haven't got Maui up the top. They do play netball at Maui, they just haven't got A grade, but we'll go into Traralgon and Maffra at Maffra. Really the big, well, you say it's a big game of the round because it will decide who gets the last of the double chances. Of course, the other big game is the top two, Sale and Meangatha and Meangatha, which normally would take match of the day status, but there's nothing hanging on that one, whereas Traralgon and Maffra is a lot hanging. In that one, I expect Traralgon to keep rolling on. They're coming good. Maffra, interesting, they've had their injury problems. And I found it interesting that Adrian Bergiel had a run the reserves last week, and Jack Tatterson, who's come back from wherever he's been wandering around. So they need those players back in for the finals. Whether they're good enough to come back in this week, I'm not sure, but I think Traralgon's coasting along very nicely. Expect them to win and get the double chance.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Traralgon is fired up at the right time of the year, and I do expect them to keep that double chance and and go into the finals defending their reigning premiership in the netball, Naomi.
Well, our netball's all set. Top 5 teams barring a huge upset this week. Traralgon will be too strong for Maffra. They're doing really well coming into the season, and I can't imagine that it'll be anything but a big win for Traralgon.
Right, so both those sides going to be in finals?
Traralgon yes, Maffra no.
Right. Next game, Chris, can you remember? No, I tell you, we'll go to Maui. We'll talk about Maui because it's Benso at home against Maui, and this is Maui's last chance to get off the bottom of the ladder, provided, of course, Warringal don't beat Wonthaggi. But should be interesting. Both clubs really have been a little disappointing, but I think Maui had a difficult start. Maybe Benso expected a little bit more, but they're a lot better side on their home ground. I just expect they'll probably get over the line this week against Maui, but this game could go either way, and I'm sure both sides will be going 100% as their last games for the year.
Yeah, and I think Bairnsdale will enjoy having a firm ground. As you know, we asked a few of their players last week at Druin, and none of the current playing personnel had played on a ground that wet. They said so. That's interesting with all the floods they've had up there, but there's some long-term players there as well as some young, and they said they'd never seen a ground that bad. So, not good for the locals at Druin, but they'll be back on firm track. I think Bairnsdale will have too much for Moe, and I expect it to be a close game, but Bairnsdale to hold. Yeah.
Well, this won't have any bearing on the netball in the A grade. Bairnsdale not in the finals either.
Nope, not in the finals.
Well, all the girls might get together up there and crack a few bottles of wine or something to celebrate the end of the season.
Well, you never know.
Okay, another one we have is Warragul Wonthaggi.
Yep, at Warragul. Interesting game. Wonthaggi theoretically should win, but again, it's one of those games where I wouldn't be surprised with a bit of an upset. Warragul they were quite pleased with their effort at Sale last week. It was just that Sale just got that class that finishes it off. So yeah, they'll be. And I just think Wonthaggi's midfield will probably get them over the line. Big news at Warragul is that Ashley Green has been appointed coach for next year. He'll, a hugely respected man in football, and certainly at Warragul, and I think they'll have a terrific lift for them, and maybe lift the side to a win this week, but I don't think so. I'll go to Wonthaggi.
Yeah, I think Wonthaggi, I think they do have too much firepower, but I'm a bit like you. I keep thinking, this is Justin Cairns' last game. He stepped in to help out the club. Big chance for players on both sides, we haven't played as well as what we'd hoped, but, this is the last game. We've got nothing to lose. Let's throw everything at it. But I think for that reason, probably Wonthaggi just slightly ahead of Warragul.
Yep. And the netball, anything at stake here?
Well, not specifically. Wonthaggi is sitting 5th. They would need bottom place Warragul, who haven't won a game yet for the season, to defeat them for them to be knocked out. It could still happen, and for Warragul's sake, I'd love to see them get a win in this season, but I imagine that it's going to be Wonthaggi too strong at home.
Very good.
We then have Druin travelling to Moore.
Yes. Interesting game. It would have been a lot more interesting had Moore beaten Terrelligan last week, but as it stands, Moore can't do any better than 4th or 5th. They'll be in the elimination final. They'd have been disappointed last week. It was a big game for them. Druin would have certainly taken a lot of heart and a lot of confidence out of their win over Bairnsdale, and they played very well. I thought it was one of their better efforts for the year. As you mentioned, Bairnsdale just didn't handle the track, and it was probably the worst time for them ever to bring down their fundamentally white alternative strip. But Druin, I think, should take some confidence in. It's a toss-up. Form suggests Morwell, totally different surface Druin's got to play on. Now, whether that has a sort of similar effect to what Bairnsdale got last week, I'm not sure, but Morwell have been pretty good. If they come up fit, you'd think they have enough inspiration, enough motivation behind them.
There's a rumour going around they might rest a couple. Do you think they'd be silly enough to do that?
Well, whether they're silly enough to do it or not, I think they're silly if they did, unless they got some guys who are just a little sus with injury. But
you still got to come into the finals fit, that, aren't you? You take the game away and
no, if the players are fit, they should play.
Yeah. But anyway, you're going for more.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably agree with you. Naomi.
Morwell had a good second half to the season, but unfortunately left their run into the finals that little bit too late, and barring a huge miracle, won't see finals this year, and barring their miracle being that they beat Druin and that Warragul beat Wonthaggi. So I imagine that it'll be just a comfortable win for Druin this week.
Well, which teams are in the vibe?
So 5, Leongatha, Druin, Traralgon, Sale and Wonthaggi.
Very good. The last game is a big one under lights at Leongatha, which will probably get a bit chilly there, so for all those people who are going, rug up. Interesting clash. They clashed earlier in the year under lights at Sale, so this is a return bout. It looked like being a real fantastic game leading into the finals, and until now it's not even a play-off for first place, which I think for a fair while we expected it may have been. It should be a really good hit out there. There's a few of Sale's champions who've got some big milestones coming up this week. I'm not sure if they're doing 3 banners or...
Yeah, Kane Fraser's playing his 250th. Shane Fife is playing his 150th, and you've got Corey Sculpey's playing his 100th. So 3 players that have played in their premiership, and 3 very good players. And Sale's very good at acknowledging milestones, so I'll dip my link to that one. To Sale, Tassie Deacon always sends me the milestones and photos for our footy record, which I wish all the other clubs would do, but great effort by those 3 blokes. And Kane, especially, family, you know, been involved with Sale a long time, and the Fife family as well, so well done to those.
Well, Kane, there's no reason I can see that he wouldn't go on next year, and if he did, he could become the club's record holder, games record holder, so that'd be fantastic. As you say, he's been a champion player for the club, as have the other 2, and those 3 guys will have a big say in the premiership this year.
Certainly will.
Yeah, they got Leongatha. Gee, I don't know. Leongatha's hard to play at any time, played under lights, and if you get a bit of misty rain or something, anything could happen. I think Leongatha have now settled back reasonably well. I won't tip against Sale. I just won't tip about, and I've got a feeling they might be there on grand final day on the dais, but I'll pick them. This wouldn't surprise me if Leongatha got up this week. They got some pretty talented players. They can kick a good score. So can Sale.
Yeah, I just think Sale's a super side, and I just think with Leongatha, you know, the couple of injuries they got to 2 key players, I believe they've got too much firepower for the Parrots, the Magpies, to knock a few feathers off the Parrots.
Well, Naomi's just told us Leongatha sits on top in the netball, and Sale are up there pretty high, so that should be... they play under lights all the time at Leongatha, so there shouldn't be anything new.
Well, when the 2 teams met in the first round, there only 1 goal separated them, but Leongatha's had a stronger second half of the season than Sale has. I think Sale would really like to have a win and just tell teams that they really are about in finals, that they're not falling apart, but I imagine that Leongatha at home will be winners this week.
The Parrots to outpick the Magpies.
That's the one.
I thought you were sick.
Don't you realise?
Come up with something.
Anyway, thank you very much. Hope you enjoy that. Finals coming up in a week's time, and we'll all be looking forward to that. It'll be a great final series. I think it's shaping that way. We don't know who's going to play who yet, but and that's the beauty of it. So until next week, thank you very much, and hopefully the league boss is back in full pedal, and we'll be going strongly.
See you later.